A very, very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Quarantine Choir. It's Friday, and so it's time for our fun sing. And as promised, today we're going to be learning the verses as well as the chorus to the wonderful Any Old Iron. And just been talking to the folks here on the comments. Actually, it's not a very well-known song other than the chorus, so glad to be. It's a little bit of community service here, doing my bit for the choral community, sharing these wonderful tunes. I'm sure you're going to love it. So we'll start in a moment after a bit of a chat from me about the what's going on with Quarantine Choir as we go into the autumn. We'll have a warm up. We'll sing our breakfast song. The When It's Time for Breakfast, I like toast and marmalade. That one. We'll sing I Do Like to Be Beside the Seaside. And I've just found out that Blackpool Pier here in the UK has caught fire, and so we'll sing this one slightly sad. Of course, it will all be restored and return to its glory, but we'll be thinking of the people of Blackpool as we sing that one. We'll learn Any Old Iron and then finish with Where Did You Get That Hat? But first, folks, I've been talking over the last week, and in fact really over the last month or so, about what's going to happen with Quarantine Choir as we move forwards. And I just need to kind of rewind a bit. Quarantine Choir started on March the 12th as a direct response to my choir rehearsals on that day being cancelled. They were cancelled at about an hour's notice, and so I was sat in the house. I've told this story before. I thought, great, I can catch up with my Netflix. I don't have to go to work. And then I thought, what am I going to do for everyone out there who sings for me, sings with me, who's going to really miss it? So I got my phone out, this very phone, and I recorded that very first video. And then I recorded I'm going to sing, sing, sing. And it's had 7,000 views so far. You know, I genuinely no idea that this online singing would take off. I had, however, previously thought about setting up a choir for people who couldn't get to a choir rehearsal for whatever reason, whether they were too busy, whether it didn't fit with their timescale, whether they couldn't leave the house, whether they were in care, whatever reason. And that's where the name Home Choir came from. And I registered that name back in January, I think, February. With the plan that later this year I would launch it, and it would be a little thing that I would put out videos from time to time. So Quarantine Choir was a sort of a react sort of model, and we've had a lot of fun. I have absolutely loved it. But the model of a new song every day is quite demanding, as I'm sure you appreciate. You know, just making sure I've got lists and all the repertoire, and making sure that I'm not infringing copyright, and all of this is quite complicated. So I've come to a decision, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Quarantine Choir, as it stands, will finish on Friday, August the 7th. That will be the last Quarantine Choir rehearsal. I'm then going to have a few weeks. I'm going to have 3 weeks off from broadcasting live on this channel. I'm sure I will have your support in doing that. I haven't actually had more than a couple of days off back to back since Christmas, and I need some time to relax. Of course, in the middle of this, I'll have a week off, then I'll have a week of self-isolation choir, and then another week off. But that will allow me to just recharge my batteries, and really that will be to everybody's good. My family will appreciate it, I'll appreciate it, and you'll reap the benefit in the form of a re-energized, reinvigorated experience in September, when we will be back. We will be broadcasting and teaching songs for free. We'll be back. It won't be called Quarantine Choir at that point. It will be called Home Choir. All right, and that will be a long-term project. We will be on the air, you know, even once lockdown is over. I will still produce stuff for Home Choir, because that it'll be much more what I originally envisaged back in January, though it will still be live. Okay, it'll be live. You'll be able to come along, usually every day. There may be some days where I don't broadcast. As I am anticipating at some point, I will be going back out to work with my face-to-face choirs. But Home Choir will launch officially at the start of September, and I'll have more details around that time. Now, it will still be free, but as many of you have very kindly suggested, that there will be an option at that point to pay a subscription to Home Choir. It won't be a lot of money. I'll be keeping it as low as I can, and that will be for extra events. So I'm going to be starting up my music history lectures, and I've given dozens of them over the last few years. I've lectured on Baroque music, classical music, jazz, film music, and so on. So I'll be starting those, and those who subscribe to Home Choir will be given access to those live lectures. I'm going to be starting some live composing and arranging sessions where I come in and create music using my setup here, and you can come and watch those. I'm also going to start giving concerts online. So those will be kind of extra perks for those people who subscribe to Home Choir. But if you don't want to subscribe, you don't want to have to pay, it's absolutely fine. You can still come along and take part in what is effectively Quarantine Choir, just with a new sort of facade, if you like. All right. So that's the future of Quarantine Choir. The actual Quarantine Choir as it stands, with the logo and the one song a day. The very last one will be Friday, August the 7th. And I do hope you'll all join me for that. We're going to have a fantastic time. I think we'll have an hour and we'll really just enjoy looking back at everything we've done over the last few months. Then we'll have a little break, and then we'll be back in September with a new improved shop front and a new improved experience for everybody. Just on that, a few of you have very, very kindly asked if you can buy a CD of the music that we've done on Home Choir. And I hope you appreciate, I'm not going to get into the business of manufacturing CDs and sending them out. But for those people who would be interested in doing that, I am putting together the best of Quarantine Choir, which will be a folder of digital sound files that you can download. And I'll put that out. Again, it won't cost a lot of money, but it's just to sort of cover my time to put it together. I'm going to put together a folder of some of the best pieces that we've put together. So things like Singing in Quarantine, Pack Up Your Loo Roll and Your Tin of Spam, that lovely arrangement, My Lag and Love by Eric, Noyana, all of these nice recordings that we've had playing in the background for the last 5 months. You can put them together and you can then load them onto your device and listen to them in your own time. All right, so that's the future of Quarantine Choir. Thank you everybody for your lovely comments. Everyone seems to be really supportive. So we have a few weeks still in this model where we learn a new song every day, where we're called the Quarantine Choir, but we have now that end point, and then there'll be something new and very special in September. So thank you everybody for your understanding. Thank you obviously for your support. Thank you for being here every day. It makes a huge difference to my life. So thank you all. Right. So that's it. Chatty hat off, music director hat on. Let's have a sing. So let's do a bit of a warm-up. Do make sure you've got your drink handy. And can I invite you to stand up for me? Plant your feet that shoulders width apart. Make your knees nice and soft. Straight back, long neck. You know the drill. You've been with me for a long time. Let's take a nice deep breath, everyone. And blow away all our worries and cares. Just get rid of them. And again, nice deep breath. And blow the air out. And just one more deep breath. And blow it out. Fabulous. Roll the shoulders around. And bring your shoulders up to your ears. And let them fall. Thank you, everybody. And just tilt your head over to one side. And gently the other side. And to the middle and forwards. And to the middle again. And just let your head roll around a little bit. Loosen up those muscles. Thank you, everybody. It's just occurred to me, in case anybody's concerned, the Sacred Sing will stay the same. It'll take a break in the summer, but the Sacred Sing will remain as it is, Sundays, 11 a.m., and that'll be the same in September as well, for those who are worried about that. All right, so let's do a bit of humming, shall we? We'll start there. And we'll hum up. Just up a third and down again. Nice deep breath and still humming. Now ooh, oh, and again. And could I have it now after me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thank you, my turn. Me, me, me. Very nice. Your, your. Thank you. La, la, la. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Have a sip of your drink. I'll just have a quick check of the comments and say hello to everybody. So hello, Heather. Hello, Christine. And Sue. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Well, we'll have a lot of fun between now and August the 7th, and of course, lots and lots of fun in September. So let's start with our breakfast song. And yeah, this song, I learned it from my mum, who's a primary school music teacher. And I've taught it to pretty much every choir I've ever worked with, regardless of age and circumstance. And so it's only right that we should sing this on Quarantine Choir. So if you've not sung it before, then you might want to have a listen. But of course, most of us know it. It works as a round. So it goes. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade. That's how I start my day. That's the first verse. The second verse goes just a cup of tea. It goes like this. Just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. With milk and sugar, just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. Fabulous. Okay, that's the second verse. Then we sing I Like Eggs and Bacon. I'm just thinking, actually, this feels a bit on the low side, so I'm going to take it up a tone. All right, for those of you in the soprano and tenor department, this should hopefully help you. So the third verse goes, I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. I've just seen it says eggs and bacon. I think we'll just have the one egg. Got to watch one's cholesterol, you understand? So let's sing from the very beginning in this slightly higher key to help those of you in the soprano and tenor section. All the way through, without stopping, singing with me. Ready? When it's time, and when it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade. That's how I start my day. Just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. With milk and sugar, just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. Fantastic, everybody. Well done. So let's try it through. We'll sing it through twice. And if you want to sing along with me, if you've not sung it before, stick with me. That's absolutely fine. But if you know it, you know what I'm going to say. Start at a verse different. So when I finish, that's how I start my day. You can start then when it's time for breakfast as I sing just a cup of tea. Of course, if you know it really well, you might want to wait 2 verses and join in with me. After the second time through, I'll sing I Like Egg and Bacon 3 times to allow everyone to finish with me at the same time. Are we ready, everybody? Time for breakfast. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade. That's how I start my day. Just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. With milk and sugar, just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade, toast and marmalade. When it's time for breakfast, I like toast and marmalade. That's how I start my day. Just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. With milk and sugar, just a cup of tea, that's enough for me, that's enough for me. I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. Last time, I like egg and bacon and a slice of thick brown bread. If you have no bacon, then a sausage will do instead. Thank you, everybody. Cheers all. Makes me hungry now. Ah, dear. Lovely to see you, Jane, and you haven't missed anything. We've just been killing time till you got here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's sing our second song of the day. I do like to be beside the seaside. And again, this is one of those songs most people know the chorus, but we on Quarantine Choir, we aren't satisfied with just knowing the chorus. We have to learn the full thing, including the verse. So a couple of weeks ago, we learnt this one. And if you didn't see it, well, sing along with us now, and you can always just put in, remember, home choir, oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. All right, so that's how the tune goes. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of an intro. No, that's complete rubbish. And everyone delights to spend their summer's holiday down beside the side of the silvery sea. I'm no exception to the rule. In fact, if I'd my way, I'd reside beside the side of the silvery sea. But when you're just the commoner garden smith or Jones or Brown at business up in town, you've got to settle down. You save up all the money you can till summer comes around. Then away you go to a spot you know when the cockle shells are found. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, I do like to stroll along the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om, pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. Verse 2. William Sykes the burglar, he'd been out to work one night, filled his bags with jewels and cash and plate. Constable Brown felt quite surprised when William hoved in sight. Said he, the owls you're keeping are far too late. So he grabbed him by the collar and lodged him safe and sound in jail. Next morning, looking pale, Bill told a tearful tale. The judge said, for a couple of months I'm sending you away. Said Bill, how kind if you don't mind where I spend me holiday. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, I do like to stroll along the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om, pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea, tiddly-pom. Well done, everybody. Great stuff. So look, we blasted through that one because I want to get to Any Old Iron today. And this one, I've been promising you this one for ages. And it is a really, really fun song. Okay? So before we start, there are going to be some words in here. I'm going to get people saying, what does that mean? Well, what's a dial? Yeah, what's a Derby Kell? So I do have, if you've got the description open, I've put the descriptions in there already, but I'll translate as I go along, as they say. Okay, I'm just going to put this back where it needs to be. There we go. So let's have a little look at this song, shall we? Well, first of all, let's remind ourselves of the chorus, because we all know this. The chorus goes, any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style, brand new tile, and your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain. Old iron, old iron. Okay, I think most people remember that one. So let's go back and have a look at this verse. So first of all, just a couple of weeks ago, me poor old Uncle Bill went and kicked the bucket and he left me in his will. The other night I popped around to see me Auntie Jane. She said your Uncle Bill has left to you his watch and chain. I put it on right across me vest, thought I looked a dandy as it dangled on me chest. I'm sure you know what a dandy... Thought I looked great. Looked a dandy. Just to flash it off, I started walking round about. A lot of kiddies followed me and all began to shout. Any old iron. Okay, so the tune is in the right key? Yes, it is. Okay, so the tune goes. Just a week or two ago, me poor old Uncle Bill, sing with me. And just a week or two ago, me poor old Uncle Bill. Great. And make sure if you're singing, it's not Bill with an L. Okay, it's not Bill, this is Bill with a W. Bill. Me poor old Uncle Bill. Say it for me. Very good. Very good. Honorary Cockneys, all of you. Okay, then we go up a third and we sing, went and kicked the bucket and he left me in his will. Okay, sing for me. Went and kicked the bucket and he left me in his will. For those of you who don't know, kick the bucket, no longer with us. Has passed on. Pining for the fields, as they say. All right? Then, the other day I popped around to see me Auntie Jane. So sing that with me. And the other day I popped around to see me Auntie Jane. And then on the same note, she said your Uncle Bill has left to you a watch and chain. Sing with me. She said your Uncle Bill has left to you a watch and chain. Right, back to the beginning. Just a week or two. Here's your intro. Just a week or two ago, me poor old Uncle Bill went and kicked the bucket and he left me in his will. The other day I popped around to see me Auntie Jane. She said your Uncle Bill has left to you a watch and chain. Then I put it on right across me vest. So listen to that. Da 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 da, la da 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 da. Sing with me. I put it on and I put it on right across me vest. Yeah. Then thought I looked a dandy as it dangled on me chest. Sing with me. And thought I looked a dandy as it dangled on me chest. Brill. So let's sing from I put it on one more time. And I put it on right across me vest. Thought I looked a dandy as it dangled on me chest. Great. And then from that note, just to flash it off, I started walking round about. Sing with me. Just to flash it off, I started walking all about. A lot of kiddies followed me and all began to shout. Sing with me. A lot of kiddies followed me and all began to shout. And then the chorus. So let's sing from the beginning, everybody. And now we know the tune, we can have a go at the next two verses. And some of you are already reading ahead. All right. And just in case you are. So there's a couple of bits in verse 2. What a dial. Lord lummy, what a dial. This, ladies and gentlemen, your face is your dial, like the dial of a clock, okay? Your Derby Kell. So if you have a particularly portly chest or a well-developed abdomen, shall we say, that's your Derby Kell, all right? And then the last, the sun was shining on it and it made me look a swell. That made me look fantastic, all right? So there we are, fully translated. Let's sing from the beginning, everybody. Have fun. Yep-ba-da-ba-da-dum. And just a week or two ago, me poor old Uncle Bill went and kicked the bucket and he left me in his will. The other day I popped around to see old Auntie Jane. She said your Uncle Bill has left to you a watch and chain. I put it on right across me vest. Thought I'd look a dandy as it dangled on me chest. Just to flash it off I started walking round about. A lot of kiddies followed me and all began to shout. Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style, brand new tile, and your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain. Old iron, old iron. Daddle-dad, daddle-dad, daddle-dee, jim-ching. Gotta turn back. Okay, next verse. I won't forget the day I went to London on the spree. I saw the Mayor of London there, that's who I went to see. He dashed up at a canter with a carriage and a pair. I shouted, come on boys, or throw your hats up in the air. Just then the Mayor, he began to smile, pointed to my face and said, well, lummy, what a dial. Started Lord Mayoring, and then to my dismay, he pointed to me watch and chain and shouted to me, hey, any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style, brand new tile, and your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, old iron, old iron. Last verse. I shan't forget the day I married Miss Eliza Brown. The way the people laughed at me, it made me feel a clown. I began to wonder when their dials began to crack, if by some mistake I got me trousers front to back. I wore me chain on me Derby Kell. The sun was shining on it and it made me look a swell. The organ started playing, the bells began to ring, the people started laughing and the choir began to sing. Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style, brand new tile, and your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, old iron again. Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look neat, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style, brand new tile, and your father's old green tie on. But I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain, old iron, old iron. Da-da-la-da-la-da, da-da-la-da-la-da, I diddly I die, pom pom. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Notice it takes a while to get rid of the Cockney L's. Apologies, anybody out there who thinks I talk proper. I do sometimes. Right then, folks. Let's sing Where Did You Get That Hat? From where did you acquire that lovely piece of lovely head covering there? Where did you get that at? Where did you get that tile? You see, we're definitely doing a public service here, sharing all of this linguistic wonder with the world. There are people now watching in the United States of America who know what a dial really means. So, ladies and gentlemen, for our last sing today, please do join me. If you aren't standing already, stand up, get your Cockney braces ready, okay? And have lots of fun with this one. Chuck a few oys in there for fun. Here we go. Now, how I came to get this hat is very strange and funny. Grandfather died and left to me his property and money. And when the will it was read out, they told me straight and flat, if I would have his money, I must always wear his hat. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tile? Isn't it a knobby one and just the proper style? I should like to have one just the same as that. Where'er I go they shout, hello, where did you get that hat? If I go to the opera house in the opera season, there's some bird sure to shout at me without the slightest reason. If I go to a concert hall to have a jolly spree, there's someone in the party who is sure to shout at me. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tile? Isn't it a knobby one and just the proper style? I should like to have one just the same as that. Where'er I go they shout, hello, where did you get that hat? 21, I thought I would to my sweetheart be married. The people in the neighbourhood said too long we had tarried. So off to church we went right quick, determined to get wed. I had not long been in there when the parson to me said, where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tile? Isn't it a knobby one and just the proper style? I should like to have one just the same as that. Where'er I go they shout hello. Where did you get that hat? One more time. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that tile? Isn't it a knobby one and just the proper style? I should like to have one just the same as that. Where'er I go they shout hello. Where did you get that hat? Wait! Ladies and gentlemen of the Quarantine Choir, from whence did you acquire that piece of millinery? That's the one. That's the word I was trying to think of, Heather. Thank you. I haven't been to John Lewis recently, which is why I can't remember the name of it. Brilliant, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. So the business about Quarantine Choir in September, I will talk about it over the coming weeks. So if you've seen it today, don't be surprised if I talk about it next week and the week after for those people who haven't been along today. But I'm really, really looking forward to moving on with this choir in September and doing some really, really cool stuff with you all. So have a fantastic weekend. Do join me at 11 o'clock on Sunday for the Sacred Sing. If you can, we're going to be singing those wonderful pieces of Bach in German. And I had an email from Albert who said, and this is a great comment, he said my German was absolutely okay. There we are. I made up Albert. That's brilliant. So come along and join me in my absolutely okay German on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And if you can't make it then, watch us later on. And I'll see you next week at 2 o'clock at the normal time. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. See you later. Cheers.